Carnitas Ramirez is a taqueria that focuses on pork. We currently work with 15 different cuts of pork, like the ribs, pork butt, shank, but we also specialize in the not really common parts of the pork, like the uterus, the tongue, the snout. The way we concentrate on only pork, it just gave us the room to get into the subtleness of working with one thing only. Being a co-owner means a lot of different roles, but most particularly I'm concentrated in the kitchen and offering to people experience that it could be as close as we can to Mexico. Good morning, everybody. My name is Giovanni Cervantes. I'm one of the co-owners and one of the taqueros here at Carnitas Ramirez. It's 7 a.m. and we have a lot of work to do, so let's go. This is our main dining room. As you can see, it's counter service. Later on, as soon as we're ready to open, we're gonna lay it out pretty much like a full pork here with many more parts.
We knew that when we opened, it was going to be like an educational experience also for everybody that comes into the restaurant. There's definitely a lot of people that were not used to all these different cuts, but we help them out in different ways. So we have a really nice pork map right here in our main dining room. So you have all the different cuts that we're doing today. We also write down in this window all the names, also with its translation. Our QR code is right there. That gives you just pictures of every single taco in its best expressions. So the first thing we do in the morning, somewhere around 7 a.m., we're gonna put lard on both quesos. We have these two quesos here. They're basically made to put as much meat as you can. This is where we only sear our meat, and this is when we simmer our meat. So this is low temperature, a long time, and this is where the actual meat gets cooked. And this is only for searing. We have about 15 different cuts of the pig that we're gonna work with.
The first tacos that I always suggest people to try is the surtida. It's literally like 15 different parts of the pork in a single bite. I feel like that's the Carnitas experience at its max. You just have all the flavors condensed in one taco.
We have meat scheduled right here. We write at what time we put every cut. And these are all the cuts that we're gonna work with today. So we're gonna start filling these quesos with lard. The meaning of carnitas is pork cooked on its own fat. So depending on how you keep your lard and what components you add to your lard, they're gonna define the flavor of your product, in this case, your carnitas at the end. In a sense, we're very purist because we only add salt and some garlic into our lard. That's our madre lard, so it's the same lard we've been using since the day we opened. The lard, it's the most important component of our product here. The reason we keep using the same lard is because we believe that this is what gonna bring all the flavor to our carnitas. There's crazy stories and people pass their lard through generations. So if like your grandpa dies, they give you their lard. At the end of the night, we filter this lard, put it back into the buckets so we can clean this kitchen. So everything gets ready and fresh to start every morning for us. Depending on the day, we decide how much lard we really need. Like if we are doing a small batch, this one was in the fridge. This is a different quality of manteca. It has to be really hot. So the more we use it, the more darker it gets. That's why this one, at the end of the week, it's just time to get a new one, replace it. Every Wednesday that we open, we start with a fresh lard on this casa only. It's about 7:15 right now, so we're gonna take you downstairs. We're gonna start with our maciza, which is our pork butt. Welcome to our prep kitchen. This is the dungeon. And here with Roberto, he's cleaning up his tomatillos for the salsa verde. This is our walk-in fridge. These are the ribs that we're gonna use for our first batch. This cut of pork is pork butt. In Mexico, we call it cabeza de lomo. It's basically really meaty, rich on fat, sort of cut. Very soon we're gonna start searing these pieces. Let's go. We're gonna check temperature. As you can tell, it's like at 340, 345 right now. So that means it's way ready. This is our pork butt. That's the first one that goes, precisely because it takes the most time. We're gonna give it a good sear. That's gonna help us with color. That's gonna give us some texture as well. I like my carnitas to be just the right amount of chewy. The searing part also helps with that. Mostly the cuts that are the meatiest are the ones that are definitely, we're gonna give them a good sear, and then we're gonna put it right into the simmering caso. Here is our meat schedule. So we have the maciza, which is this meat. We put it in at 7:30, and we put 8 pieces. This is sort of the control that we have in case something goes wrong at the end of the batch. If we notice that something needed a little more time to be cooked or less time to be cooked, we go back to this, we see at what time we put it, and then we need to make adjustments. ¿Cómo lo ves? Jala ya, ¿no? Oh, stay now. I'll just touch base with Saul, make sure the searing is on point. We think it is. As you can tell, like from the beginning, how much this changed it. This is all raw, so it's basically just the out layer that it's been like seared. All this heat needs to penetrate, so that's when we're gonna put it into this caso. And this is where they're gonna be for the next 4 hours. So this one's just so ready, man, so beautiful. You can tell all the brightness, all these golden colors are like just telling me that it's ready to cook. Let's go downstairs, pick up that lengua. It's 8 a.m. This meat is just so sturdy. They need a lot of time to break down and they make really soft. So that's what we're gonna do next. This is our lenguas. It takes so long to be done, but it's needed. We're also gonna get some buche, which is our stomach. It's super strong, so they need a lot of time to break down and they make really soft. This, they don't need to get seared, so they go straight into our madre caso. So I'm just gonna go and put the lenguas right there. But they all have different timings. This is the stomach, and after spending here 2 hours and a half, they just get really soft and really delicious. This liquid is pretty dense, so you cannot really see through. It's almost like fishing. Maybe by the end of the day, something gets a little hidden, and we find it, and we took it out, and we thought we were running out of lenguas, and like, no, guess what? There was a lengua right there. It's 8:15. We're back at our prep kitchen. This is time I usually come and check out with Roberto, how he's doing with the salsa. It's salsa verde cruda, which means none of these ingredients are being cooked. They're just raw. So we have tomatillos, onions, cilantro, garlic, avocado chunks blended. So as you can see, it has a lot of texture. Crunchy, juicy, acidic flavor that kind of remains and it stays in your mouth. And it contrasts really, really nice with the carnitas. It's pretty good, Robbie. Gracias. A huevo. And let's go upstairs and check out our meat. So it's around 9 a.m. right now. We have our next batch of different cuts that we're gonna add into our pot. These are ears. These are really, really nice, crunchy, but there's also some chewiness of the skin. The meat part is very minimal. It's more of a flavor and texture experience with this. We also have our tails. Tails can come in like different shapes. We have our uterus here. So this is another organ that takes a while to get done. And we have the cheeks. These are like, I would say it's really nice. Like it's a really meaty, kind of unique flavor cut. So the reason that these guys are in this basket is because these are the smaller cuts that we deal with. It's gonna help us out to keep it all together. So when it's ready, we just grab it and we know it's good to go. It's 10:45. We're still missing a few things. All our meat's already in the caso, and it's gonna keep bubbling for another hour. What is happening right now, Belen is making our quesadillas, which is our brain taco. It's just such a unique flavor. It's difficult to describe. It's velvety. That's just what means for me is pleasure. It comes like that in a much more smaller tortilla. We like it like to keep it tiny. So it has like about a spoon of brains. These brains have been pre-cooked already, and they have some epazote and some garlic as well. So basically what she's doing is like enclosing these brains into these tortillas. With the help of these toothpicks, everything like keeps together. So the chicharron, we make it once a week. We put all our leftovers together. That's where you can see all these different like kind of like patterns and textures and colors. We can see some ears here. This more like reddish part, that's the uterus. And all these like brownish parts it's just like meat. And it's just fresh and delicious, like in a different shape, some sort of like sausage. It's already cooked, but we're gonna blend it and break it down. So as you can tell, it was only like a quick time that Belén put it into the griddle. Now that meat is ready to assemble. We call it gorditas. This similar shape, it's also well known in Latin America as arepas. It's a different masa. Arepas are made. This is just corn. They're called gorditas because they're chunky. I remember gorditas de chicharrón a lot growing up in Mexico City. That was one of my main meals, to be honest, like when I was in school. This is the last procedures. One of them is our chicharrón or pork rinds. This is just pork skin. But the way it's been treated and dried out, it interacts this way with the lard at a higher temperature. And they're super easy to make. These usually only takes like 5 minutes and they're ready to go. So these chicharrones, they're gonna go two different options. We offer them as scrambles that we basically just chop them up and just put it as a topping on your taco. Or you can also just get it on a side, which just like you're seeing it right now, we put it in a little bowl and you can just snack it in between your taco bites. The shapes are right, unpredictable. They can go in any forms. So this is like a, uncooked raw one. Crunchy, amazing, fresh chicharrón, bro. We're about 20 minutes, actually a little less for us to get open. So right now Saul is taking all the meat out of the caso. We're like organizing it. We have here our chicharrón carnudo. Over there we have our nana, which is the uterus, and the skin, which is our cuero. What Rob is doing on the other side, we toast that layer of the barriga. That's where the fat is, the skin. It just adds a little more different tone of flavor at the end, but also I love the way it looks after when you have that kind of like contrast of colors in your taco. It works pretty well. For me, these are the best spots in the taqueria because you can obviously see all the action and you are like as close to the kitchen as you can be. And the sounds of the kitchen, when we yell the names out, or we were talking to each other, you're just part of that experience. We're just a few minutes before opening. Everything is laid out here. We're basically just making tortillas, so we have a batch in advance. So I'm just gonna go to the kitchen, make sure everybody is ready over there. Thank you guys for going with me. We open at noon, so let's go. See you guys later. Bye-bye.